Today's lesson is Module 4, Lesson 11, Factoring Expressions. Today's video will be notes over the lesson, and we will work through the lesson together as a class. Before we get started, I would like for you to draw the tape diagram that is shown on the screen. 2 boxes with 2's in them and 2 boxes with 4's in them. We are going to talk about grouping those. And anytime I see groups, remember that is represented by multiplication. So 2 groups of 2 would be represented as 2 times 2. That is this part here. And then I have 2 groups of 4, so that's 2 groups of 4. And then since these two are attached together, it gets the addition operation. So what we have made here are 2 groups of 2 plus 2 groups of 4. When I write these out, I'm looking for things that match. I can see that I'm making 2 groups of each number. So these are common factors. And so what I can do is I can simplify this expression by writing out those common factors first, and then the 2 that are left would go in parentheses with the operation that I haven't used. So 2 times 2 plus 2 times 4 can be simplified as 2 times the sum of 2 and 4. Now let's take a look at this tape diagram. You'll notice on this tape diagram, again, I still have a 4 and a 4 and a 2 and a 2. They are arranged differently. So according to this tape diagram, I have a group of 4 plus 2 and a group of 4 plus 2. So this time I have 2 groups of 4 plus 2. So that is the same as saying 2 groups of 4 plus 2. Since all of these are using the same numbers, and you can see that I was able to simplify that the same way, we could say that those expressions are equivalent. So 2 groups of 4 plus 2 is the same as 2 groups of 2 plus 2 groups of 4. This expression here is using distributive property. You probably remember that from 5th grade or even earlier in the school year when we have done some of those lessons. So we're going to go on and do a couple more examples together. This time we're going to be looking at variables, and I want you to think back to that first example that we did here, where you can see where we had 2 numbers that were the same and 2 numbers that were the same. And this time we have 2 letters that are the same and 2 letters that are the same. So I have 2 groups of A and 2 groups of B, and they're added together. So I can write that as 2 groups of A plus 2 groups of B. When I combine the factors or look for common factors, these two are common. So I can list them separately. 2, and what I have left are A plus B. The multiplication symbols, remember, are represented with the parentheses, because remember, parentheses means to multiply. So this is 2 groups of A and 2 groups of B. We're going to continue on. Again, this time this is going to be similar to that second one here, where we had 4 and 2 and 4 and 2. So our first group is A plus B, and my second group is A plus B. So I have 2 groups of A plus B. So I can note that as 2 groups of A plus B. And that is the same as 2 times, sorry, I wrote that the wrong way. 2 times A plus 2 times B. Again, this example shows distributive property. Now we're going to see if we can apply what we just practiced in our notes on some other examples. So when I look at this first example, 3F plus 3G, if I want to simplify this into an equivalent expression, what I'm going to look for is what is matching. I can see that my 3's are common, so I write that one time. And because it's multiplication, I'm going to have parentheses, and then whatever isn't used goes inside my parentheses. So F plus G. In this next expression, I have 12 and 4. So since I don't have anything common, what I need to do is see if I can change either one of these numbers to make it common. Well, I know that 12 is the same as 3 times 4. So now I have 3 times 4m plus 4n. So my 4's are common. So I write 4 down, parentheses. I have 3m left, and I have an n left. Let's go to the next one. On the next one, I can see that I have 6 and 9 and x and y. So I'm going to think, what can I change 6 to? Well, that could be 2 times 3, and my x stays the same. My plus stays the same. My 9 I can change to 3 times 3, and then I keep my y. Now I'm looking for things that are common. I have a 3 here and a 3 here, so it goes on the outside of my parentheses. And then I have 2x plus 3y. Close my parentheses. Let's go on to the next one. And this one I have 3m plus 2m. Again, I'm looking for things that are common. I can see that both of them have m's. So this time, m is what goes on the outside. And I have a 3 and a 2 left. Now we're going to go on to our class lesson. So feel free to rewind or pause this video, go back and listen to it again if you missed something, and we will do the class lesson together. Don't hesitate to ask me any questions that you might have.